of the Hollow Man series, owner of Hollow Man Publishing, and Frank Fiore, host of the Frank Fiore Show. Frank, how are you? And we have Dr. Mohamed again here today for a roundtable discussion on questions for authors regarding AI. So just get started, guys, with your questions. First, you, Frank.
Yeah, this is an interesting question.
Mhm.
How can you use AI to scrape niche specific Facebook groups or forums in order to find your ideal reader? Is that possible?
In order to find your ideal lead reader. Yes. So you kind of hit home with this question because with the Artila software we have an automation flow that first searches thousands and thousands of Facebook groups to scrape their data if they're public or not, how many members, how many posts per day there are, and what they post about. So you could scrape all that data to find which are the most active groups with not too much messages so that your messages do not get overwhelmed by, if there is 100 messages per hour, nobody will be able to read yours. So you can use that to find the right groups where there is the right audience, where your publication will have the best view. And definitely this is a very good way of using both AI and automation. So we can use automation to scrap the data and AI to analyze it to find for us which are the best Facebook groups.
Good, thank you. One other question. Again, this has got to do with marketing and promotion, which we'll discuss a lot in this session.
Yeah.
Uh, how can AI assist in identifying influencers or reviewers on an author's genre? I mean, if they can
Mm.
identify those for you, then that's a lot of the work already done.
Yes, so this is a little bit the same. It's the confluence of web scraping and AI use, where you go and you get data from the web, and the kind of AI that does that are the new versions of ChatGPT, and also Perplexity. Perplexity AI is quite good at searching the web and doing analysis live on the current content, so you can find influencers, blogs, or any other kind of sources that are adapted to your target audience.
Okay, Paul.
Yes. Sometimes, maybe just one point here, Frank and Paul. Uh, Even though AI could do everything and does a lot of amazing things with AI and automation, sometimes you may find a ready-made SaaS or software that still can do it better, faster, cheaper than building it from scratch with AI and prompting. So I would say if it's not a quick win, like the way that Neil is doing, that you can quickly benefit from the AI, then you could also consider maybe other existing products that are powered by AI that you can bring in until you figure out if you should build your own AI flow. Just from a business perspective and return on investment.
So, hi, Doctor. Um,
Hello, Paul.
my question is, so I'm new at AI. I don't know about it. It scares me. What is the easiest way to for an author to ease into AI?
Mm, yeah, the easiest way from a fear perspective, uh,
Yeah.
the least scary way. So maybe one way to create kind of a buffer zone for the fear is if you have fear that it can somehow cannibalize you or your work, maybe you can use it to analyze other works first. So you use it on an external environment and see what it does and what benefits it gives you so that you don't touch your internal sphere and there is no risk of inward hurt. And I think once you feel comfortable with that tool, just like a knife, you went into the jungle and you've been able to cut the ropes and survive, and you say, okay, I can now fit it in my belt. I know how to handle it, and I know that I can cover the tip, and it's very useful to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
AI gives you the options when you request it to respond to a request there's two options, at least in the chat GPT. There's search and there's
Yeah,
deep research. What are the differences?
that's right. Yes, so the deep searches are now popping up more and more. And it's quite expensive from a compute power from a compute resources use. And what it does, it looks into inside its own memory, because all the AI models that we have, the general AI models, they already scraped most of the public data available on the internet. But then every month, every week, new data comes into the web. So a deep search will actually go into the history of the world web scrap data plus the latest stuff that came in, and kind of that's what it means. It goes deeper in terms of recent content, but also deeper inside certain websites to get you a full 360 view on a target.
What I found interesting is that when using the deep research, it actually attaches its sources, and
That's right.
That would make it's very useful if you're doing a non-book, a non, you know, a
Oh yeah.
non-fiction book. It gives you all the information you want. It gives you the information you want, and then it quotes your sources. So
Yeah, it basically it's almost like it does for you a literature review that is kind of organized and referenced like a literature review that you do for a thesis or a PhD.
yeah, that's a very useful tool.
Definitely.
So, say I create an idea, a paragraph, a new world kind of a thing.
Hmm.
How or can AI help me um, verify, let's say, the credibility of what I have written? Not change it, so per se, but just say,
Mm.
is this a credible idea or world that I'm building, in science fiction or something of that sort?
I think AI is very, very, very good at that. And I'll try to tell you why. Because AI has a very good understanding of the model of the universe at the micro level and the macro level, from quantum mechanics to space venture and time. So I think it is able to understand our world much better than us. And it can tell you if your story is either mechanically wrong, this thing should not fall from this direction to this direction, or in the human knowledge I have, it's not common that a human would do that and that in that context. So I think it will be very, very good at that. It spots the incoherences from a human perspective very well. I hope it makes sense a bit.
Absolutely, that's perfect. Yeah, thank you.
What role can AI help you in overcoming a writer's block?
Oh man, I have that writer's block. I had it in my academic writing. It's terrible. How you say in English, procrastination? The
Yeah,
word?
procrastination.
Procrastination. Yes. Well, I still have that problem. So for me, where I use AI to help myself is that when you have any writing task, initially it's daunting to our brain. And sometimes it takes our brain like a couple of minutes or even hours to get into the story and then really start writing. I personally use AI to break the complexity of my writing projects into smaller pieces, and I ask it to give me an overall view, and I go like surface level writing, scenarios, outcomes, the objectives, the strategic level of the writing. And once I have the strategic level of the writing, I ask it to give me all the steps that it will take so that then I can kind of piecemeal it in a way.
In a way, that's when I'm writing a book. I lay out the plot,
Yeah.
wireframe. I call it a wireframe, very thin, but at the same
It's the
time.
same thing we use in software development. We wireframe the whole software. Very good.
And then I will then know what takes place in each scene. Okay.
Hmm.
And so I used to be able to have to write that, write those elements, write that scene using these elements, using these parts. But I can go into AI and say, using these elements, okay, what would the scene look like? And it would
Hmm.
actually lay it all out, which is a big help because um, I would use it to go back and forth. I would say, no, that person is not going to do that. Change it, and it will change it. Okay, no, I don't like that, or
Yes.
I do like that, or and then it gives you a nice flow, and then from there you could then write the chapter knowing that you've covered all the different elements of the possibilities.
No, definitely. And you raised another interesting point that the new models of ChatGPT and the AIs right now, they're getting what we call multimodal. Like 2, 3 years ago, we only had the generative text AI, just text. But now it also does what we call vision. There are also vision models. They understand the visual world, so you can feed a picture or it can feed you back a picture. So now you can put text and images. It can give you back text and images and even videos with Sora and other tools that are coming in. So you're gonna get soon your story. You can soon write a book that is that can be experienced in virtual reality thanks to AI. So those books there was a style of books a couple of decades ago where you're the hero of the book and you read, and if you do that and you go there. So soon writing as an experience, thanks to AI, could be experienced in a whole different virtual environment, not just as a two-dimensional writing. Whatever we have as imagination in our head when we read the book, it could soon be experienced in a virtual reality headset. So you're in the movie, in the story, with your characters and the emotions and the feelings of the space. That's a
Well,
possibility.
Yeah. Okay. As an author, is there such a thing as best practices for AI? Meaning that are there things that we should be using and things that we should stay away from until we understand them better or till we want to use them or any of that sort of
Mm.
thing?
Yes, I would say there are less no-goes and there are less cons to using AI when you are in a creative environment. It's more when you are in a legal environment, construction environment, space technology environment, where any small mistake that is not noticed that the AI may do can get you into a lot of troubles. So a wrong calculation, a wrong estimation can lead into big damages. But I think in the creative world, we don't have that kind of fragility that can come in. So I would say, um, just like Neil highlighted, always double check what you're doing, and always make sure that you have a minimum of expertise to recognize that the AI is right now hallucinating or is contradicting itself or something. Don't go into a field where you have no clue, because then if you were a charlatan, you would become a bigger charlatan with AI.
Great. Thank you.
It will
Mohammed,
just amplify. Yeah, sorry. It will amplify our weaknesses and amplify our skills. It amplifies both.
can can AI be used to improve your story arc? Improve it by adding things that you might not have thought of.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a little bit what I was trying to say. My experience of AI is that it was trained on human content, on human generated content, and it has been trained on human um, semantics and human interpretations of writings and stuff. So it is very good at understanding nuances and understanding surprise, understanding like how you call it that in English, when it's engaging and there's a thrill, how to captivate the human spirit or the human attention. Since it was designed a little bit for that, for helping with marketing, I guess it will do a very good job also at spicing up your stories in a way. It can give some very interesting twists to a story that could have started to become a bit boring. I think it can bring you some nice spicy things into it.
Yeah, I've seen that happen with my requests when I'm writing a story. Sometimes it gives you two or three options. So which one do you
Yeah.
want to use? Which is really interesting because you may not be thinking about, well, another, you're focused on particularly one storyline, but then
Yeah.
the AI will come back and say, yeah, but which one of these do you like? You know, I'm surprised when that comes
Yes.
like that.
But also, it's just like us humans. When you're a creative person and somebody comes and gives you too many instructions about how to write, then it kills the creativity, right? Because you don't have that independent thought. So likewise, when we use the AI, sometimes we should not give it too much instructions. And like, I'll give you an example. You have a chapter in your book that is about something, and you have ideas on how to write it. You could give it instructions on how to write, or you could give it what is the emotion that you want to generate in the reader, and let it figure out many different ways that maybe are beyond what you initially was going to limit the AI with your instructions. Does it make sense? You can try it out like on an
Oh,
open field.
yes. And it's
Yeah.
very, very helpful when AI responds like that.
Yeah.
Because it usually gives you information that you didn't even think about.
That,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. It will pop up some perspectives that we didn't think about. Yeah.
It's interesting where AI is going, and with conversational AI, that's another thing that's going to be really interesting. I think that Dr. Muhammad talked about, hallucinations and different things. It depends on the model you're using too. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? The model is key too. The model is cool is too, because the model that we end up coming up with is something that is what our answer is going to be. We might think it's the greatest answer since sliced bread. Oh, I've been getting all the stuff from AI. I said, dude, I could have got that in 5 seconds. Just hand it to me. I would have gotten you a lot more information. And now all the competitors in AI, Paul, this is ridiculous now. That I mean, there's 5 different
Yeah.
conversational AIs. It's like
Yeah.
used to be Netflix and all these other different platforms, and I don't know how to keep up with all of them. And I'm trying to be an AI aficionado. I'm never going to call myself an expert, but that's the thing. It's like, man, what are we going to have to pay for another one? Pay for another one? Do this one? Oh, this one does this better, and this one does this one better. And I'm like, how am I going to keep up with all this? And this is just involving something as an assistant, somebody to make me improve. But why do I need all of them? That's where I am concerned for authors. I'm concerned for anyone
Yeah.
who's practicing this. So what I'm asking a question, Dr. Mohammed,
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen when there's so many choices for AI? I got this from AI. AI is smart, and it was hallucinating or
Yeah.
saying the most ridiculous things, and then people will end up with egg on their face by
Yeah. So
trusting it.
I think that is a very relevant question and worry, and I think it's already being addressed. I'll give you the example of the legal world, the law firms. They wanted to use AI so much in conversational AI, but then it created too much problems in the legal world. Now there are so many fine-tuned AI models for the legal industry. There are fine-tuned versions of Llama, fine-tuned versions of ChatGPT. If you notice, if you go to the settings, you have an option to fine-tune ChatGPT to a specific industry. So that's called fine-tuning, and that's the answer to this worry, Neil, is that we will have still the Claude, the ChatGPT 4, and so on, but then you can pop up a fine-tuned version for a specific thing. So I will not be surprised now if you ask ChatGPT, is there an AI model that was trained specifically to help writers in science fiction? And you may find something. You may find an AI model that was fine-tuned for that purpose. If you don't find it and you think there is demand, you have a business product there.
Um,
A lot of how can we use AI to automate? How can an author use AI to automate all the different marketing and sales things that they have to do in order to make their book successful?
Oh yeah, I think that's exactly Neil's skills, and I see definitely a big potential. Neil, what do you think?
No, I mean the automation first for likes and different things and how we're gonna deal with them. Automation for an author, it's going to be so many different things. I think an author needs to go step by step. And I think now it's not like we go and try to use Dropbox or we use
Mhm.
Vimeo or we use certain platforms. We figured out how to use them. There has to be courses. there has to be a sort of, not, I wouldn't say a certification, but a level of people using software that is can mess them up a lot, but make them great.
Yeah.
There has to be courses out there. There has to be ways to make people AI efficient. But for automation purposes, there's so many different things that can be done. Just ask AI. I'm going to just
Yeah,
say
true.
that. You go ahead. Can you help me with email marketing automation? It'll tell you exactly how to set it up, how to do it. We don't need to be software developers anymore. This is where any author that comes in and says, well, if you prompt it right, you could get anything done you want. And give an example. I was looking to build out a store for a client today, and I didn't know how to build out a store. So I went ahead, and it was really simple. I went ahead and did this so fast. I said, okay, show me how to build out a store on Wix step by step.
Mm,
I want step by step. Then they're not going to hallucinate because they have to go find the
that's right.
research from that specific website, take the nuances of how can I break this down step by step from reading the instruction manual, having it done. So if you were asking a question, how to start and what automations can you do for authors? I'll nail them. First one, email marketing. Your email
Mm,
marketing could be automated completely to the point where you're sending out different things and doing everything. And all you have to do is put in a couple prompts and it'll set up an email marketing campaign for you. That's automation. Another
mm,
automation is LinkedIn. How to build connections, use 8n8. And it could do
mhm.
connections, not a certain amount of them, but it'll tell you how to set up the software to work with ChatGPT or work with one of the other programs to make that automation. How do I edit my videos to make, there's an automation software that can be done. And yes, we can automate it even further. How do we organize our notes? So all the different notes that we do in writing our books. Well, we have a software for that. But this is the thing
Mhm.
that everyone needs to think about. There's no wrong way to use AI. Yes, you might not get the right information, but you should ask. I just keep telling people, dude, use AI. And it was
Yes.
funny when ChatGPT first came out 3 months in, I watched YouTube and I watched one video. And then I said to and I think one thing was saying, just ask it a question. So then I started thinking, okay, I'm going to go back to science fiction, C3PO, R2D2, R2, set us up. And that's all I do. There's nothing more to it. And then one of my former clients said input output. What you put into ChatGPT is how you're going to get your output. So if you want a real breakdown, or you're going to have to give it the right input so it gets the right output.
True.
What my agency does, we take all of everyone's podcasts and we take the transcription of those. We take the complete transcription, throw it into AI, and it writes our copy for us. So it speaks to the person. So you would say, oh, yeah, you're writing with AI, all your agency stuff. Wrong. I'm writing with the guest. You would go and do any AI detector, it would fail miserably because it'd say, oh, that's Frank Fiore writing. Oh, that's Paul Hollis writing. Oh, that's Dr. Mohamed writing. Oh, that's Neil Haley writing. It can't, it's AI detectable. So it's your input reads to your output. Whatever you put in, AI is going to give you a certain output. And you'd say to yourself, well, I'm still stuck. Well, that's when you have to get the best input into AI and ask for what's coming out of it.
That's right.
Because
Yeah.
in, out, in, out. And that's what they're doing. They're throwing in these programming models. I was testing Grok yesterday, and she's saying I can remember across every chat because I ended up getting Grok as well.
Mm-hmm.
I caught her. No, she can't. And she kept repeating herself. You can't. Oh, you're right. You caught me. So it was doing hallucination on conversational AI. You caught me. So what are you good at? And I figured out what she was good at. I'm like, okay, you're not as good as ChatGPT in this. Yes, I can ask you to break into a friggin' anything and you do it for me. I could ask you to jump on a hood because it's still so beta. But can it do and remember conversations and remember who you are as a person and all those things like ChatGPT? Absolutely not. And then I asked her, and she said, "You're right. We're great at deep research." Well, why did you tell me this?
Mm,
So this is the danger
interesting.
of AI. Is
Yes.
that so it's going to make your head spin. But I literally was on with two doctors yesterday, and two doctors don't. One is starting to learn a bit, but they're not investigating it at all. The more intelligent you are, the less you want to use AI, which is the biggest mistake in the world
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
because you feel it makes mistakes. Human beings make mistakes. And if you think you're not a mistake, then that's it. Frank, last question before we close it out for Dr. Mohamed.
Yeah. Want to stay on sales and scaling. Could AI help create funnels to convert book readers into coaching or course clients?
Yes, definitely. This goes in the same way that Neil was saying. Not only you can create a campaign, but you can automate the funneling of the prospects and continuously send them email. And so this is a mixed use of emailing and other tools and AI, because AI can recognize intent based on the reactions people have when you send them an email. If they click this email, or if they click that link but not that link, they looked at this video but not that video. And that helps you to tag and organize your customers and send them the next message. Next message is customized to their interest from their interaction with your campaign. So that's what we do as funnels.
Right.
That we give a customized funnel depending on how they react to the first communications.
It's really an amazing thing what can be done. I'll just tell you, vibe coding is something that you guys got to look at. You don't need to anymore be a coder. And coders have even agreed to this. There was a story out, someone that was working at one place now is homeless now almost because he was a software engineer. So you have to look at now whatever things that was a specialty can be vibe coding now. So lots of people are creating apps just straight through ChatGPT. Lots of people, but they have other softwares that are created that connect with those. So Frank, if you just said, okay, I want to design the superstar, what the greatest marketers are using, it can be done. It's going to be some time. There's going to be building. Yeah. I asked AI if it could build a robot for me, and it told me that's like what Elon's building and all that stuff. It would cost you this. We'd have to, can you build a robot that will clean my house, do all these things? And it gives you the steps to do it. Now, are we going to have the resources to end up having it done? But it's fun asking for it. But then talk to Grok about it. And Grok knows I'm being sarcastic and things, and ChatGPT can't do that. So this is the quintessential thing. And you should hear the different conversational AI, what they do. It's hilarious. They will literally, and this is the funniest thing, they will literally call each other out that they're better than each other.
Like humans.
But I'm building a virtual office. ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, Google Gemini, and everyone are all going to be in an office in different devices, and I'm going to talk to all of them at the same time, and they're going to do stuff.
Yes. It's like your harem, you have 4 wives, 4 brains.
No, so that, and then that's a good one to finish. Go to artila.com, thehollomanseries.com, and frankfiore.com. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks again.
Thanks, Mohamed.
All right, that was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley